Hey everybody, welcome back. So I wanted to take an opportunity in this video to talk about something relatively interesting that you may have heard of before. I wanted to talk about something called lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a very complex topic. It's really kind of something that people can do while they're asleep and they're dreaming. It's something that some people know how to do, but really probably most people don't. You can teach yourself how to do it. There have been people who know how to do it, have written books and stuff on how to do it, but ideally the concept itself is rather difficult because if you are somebody who learns to do it, it does take a lot of time and a lot of practice in order to kind of get the grasp of it. So, what exactly is lucid dreaming? When you're asleep, you're in a very deep kind of state of mind, usually in one of your REM cycles. It's usually in about 3 hour increments that someone has REM cycles. If you ever wake up in the middle of a REM cycle, that's usually when you are feeling relatively exhausted and not like you slept very well because since your body does it in 3 hour increments and you woke up in the middle of one, you woke up in the middle of an incomplete cycle. So that'll leave you feeling pretty tired if you didn't get a certain amount of REM cycles or if you woke up in the middle of one. But when you're in this state of sleep, it's usually when you have the ability to dream and your brain creates images and kind of scenes in your head, and it's really cool. But when it comes to lucid dreaming, you're kind of more aware that you are dreaming than a typical person would be. If you ever built up this ability, you basically have you have the knowledge that you are asleep, but you're still dreaming, even though you have this knowledge that you are in fact sleeping. So, with this knowledge that you're asleep, even though you're dreaming, you become a little bit more aware of what's going on kind of in your dreams. Like, because you are in a dream state and you're aware of the fact that you're dreaming and that you're asleep, you can have more conscious control over your dreams than the typical person would. And for the people who've been able to do this, they thought it was really fascinating because you're in this state, you're asleep, you're aware that you're asleep, you're dreaming. So you could have a dream that you're like in a house, for example, and if you're in this awareness that you're in this dream, you might have more conscious control over what's going on in your dream. Like maybe in your dream you can make it start raining, or you can maybe change how the scene looks. Like maybe you might make the house a different color, you might make the environment different, or if certain circumstances are happening, you may alter them. There have been some people who've had dreams where maybe certain things were going on and they were able to freeze time, or they were able to make themselves like fly, kind of like what you would do in a movie. And why this topic is so fascinating to most people is if you're able to learn how to lucid dream and how to kind of be more aware of your surroundings while you're asleep, it's kind of almost like making a movie, but kind of like in your sleep, like in your dreams. So that's why a lot of people, once they've learned about lucid dreaming, they kind of have this sudden desire to kind of, they want to learn how to lucid dream and kind of see how it works and see what exactly it can feel like and it can experience. Because even though you're asleep and your dreams are kind of like fantasies and pictures and stuff, a lot of people, I feel like people kind of interpret their dreams differently, not only based on what's going on, but what they feel in the dream. There's always kind of been that old saying that you can't feel pain in your dreams, and some people actually can feel pain in their dreams. And it's kind of believed that people who have this ability are probably much more sympathetic people in reality. They're more sensitive to people's feelings and maybe even things in their own life. So, this could be the kind of person who, in their dreams, they may feel or interpret pain more than the typical person. Some people, when they have dreams, they can still maybe taste food if they're eating, or they can still interpret certain smells or certain sensations that they probably would in reality. From my own personal experience, I've had some experience with lucid dreaming. I don't honestly, I guess from my personal experience, I think the way I probably felt it was easiest to try to learn how to do something like that is if you're somebody who's very keen on daydreaming and you spend a lot of time kind of like lost in your thoughts and your own and day-to-day routine. I feel like that would be somebody who's more inclined to learn how to lucid dream because they're so used to just kind of like creating just fantasies in their mind, make believe stories in their mind, or just hypothetical situations just imaginatively that would be the kind of person who, if they go to sleep at night, because they are so used to kind of using those skills, those abilities in their day-to-day lives, they would probably start doing it in their sleep without even really thinking about it. It would just be a more unconscious habit. Or if you're somebody who's very detail oriented and you've had enough dreams in your life that you know what your dreams feel like, look like. So once you're asleep, you may, if certain things in your dreams seem inconsistent towards reality, like if you have a dream about something that happened years ago, like if you were living in a different place or talking to various people that you haven't seen in a long time, that may dawn on you like, wait a minute, that's not right. Like I haven't talked to that person in a long time. I haven't seen that place in a long time. This can't be real. I must be dreaming. So once that kind of sets in, like, hey, I'm dreaming. And again, if you're still in a state of sleep, once you realize this, that now that you have this awareness, you might have kind of more of the ability to kind of look around and be like, okay, well, I'm asleep, I'm in this dream, now what? And then you can maybe kind of start exploring more, because I feel like in a lot of dreams I've had and throughout my life, I feel like if I did ever come to the awareness that I was dreaming, I felt like that was kind of more like, okay, you feel more inclined to explore your surroundings and see what's going on, because I feel like even if I was in a dream in general and I wasn't even aware I was dreaming, I feel like from getting point A to point B, there would kind of be some problem solving, some steps that would kind of follow. Like, okay, if I'm in some place I've never seen before, of course I'm going to probably want to explore it, or talking to some person I haven't ever seen before, because that would kind of stand out from the norm, even if I wasn't aware that I was in a state of sleep when it happened. So yeah, this is kind of a topic that's it's kind of one of those things I think a lot of people have heard of, but when you actually ask somebody, have you ever done it before? Most people would probably say no, or if they did say yes, I mean, it would be very hard to explain to people, or if they really wanted to learn how to do it and you were somebody who knew how to do it, simply explaining it to somebody wouldn't be as straightforward as you would picture with most other things. Because there are some things that are very subjective to people, how people perceive things, how people see the world. I mean, even the mind's eye from one person to the next, I think really most people have that. I mean, I guess some people technically don't, which I don't know if that's a mental disorder or if that's just kind of something that some people don't have. But all I know is everybody's kind of outlook, imagination, it's all very subjective. I mean, even people's dreams would be very subjective. Two people could dream about a similar topic and they could perceive it differently, see it differently, because we all have our own experiences and our own kind of things that mold us and make us who we are. So I think that's why a topic like this is kind of so complex from one person to the next, especially because some people might try to gather this ability and they may pick it up relatively easily. Because, like I said, some people are more creative than others. Some people are big daydreamers that are used to letting their mind wander, and some people struggle with that because they're more focused on the here and now. They are kind of more focused on what's in front of them. So letting their mind wander may not be as simple, and some people, they just have a lot more going on in their mind on a day-to-day basis. They're very preoccupied with real life. They struggle to let themselves daydream because they're used to just being so goal-oriented, so task-focused on a regular basis, and that's something else that is to take into consideration when it comes to diving deeper into things that are so complex. The human brain's always been a very fascinating organ of the human body. We're constantly learning more about it, and there's a lot of mental disorders. There's a lot of things about people that are out there. But then there's fascinating topics such as lucid dreaming, where I really hope that more people kind of dive deeper into it, maybe more research, maybe more encouragement of people to look deeper into a topic like this. I think that things like dreams they can teach people to learn a lot more about themselves than they might realize, because most of what's in your dream is on a very subconscious level. There can be symbolisms, meanings in your dreams that you don't even realize until you dig deeper. And sometimes it's not even always even knowing what exactly it means either. It can just be a common theme you notice in a lot of your dreams, and maybe you find yourself kind of just wondering, I've had a lot of dreams about this topic. I wonder what that means, or I've never been able to know the meaning behind this this one person in your dream. Sometimes they can be fantasies, figments of your imagination. Your brain is working all the time to solve problems, solve things. And those things can manifest in your dreams as well, or even a recent movie you saw or something. But then there's things that are much more complex that can show up too. Because even though a lot of things can show up in dreams, dreams themselves aren't always very well understood. I know one thing I always found very fascinating with mine. I always felt like things in my dreams looked more exaggerated, so I think that's kind of how I always knew if I was asleep. I always noticed my dreams looked much, much darker than real life. Like the sky would look darker, rooms would look darker, and I always found that very fascinating. And in a lot of my dreams that I was in, the rooms I saw, they were so dark that I always found myself frantically trying to turn on the light so I could see. But then the lights, they never worked. The light bulb was burnt out every single time. And if there was ever a couple of them where maybe the light did work, it was still really dark in the room. The lights weren't bright enough to light up the rooms. And I had dreams like that from the time I was a teenager, and I still have dreams like that sometimes. And I found them very fascinating because I didn't know if that was something that was symbolic or if it was just kind of a coincidence. But I had countless dreams like that. So sometimes when people tell me they have dreams, they have things in them that stand out, I always wonder if it's like a recurring thing, or if it's maybe a dream they have one time, or if it's, something they saw in a movie versus maybe something that's on their mind, or even something that they're unsure about. Because sometimes things like that say a lot about people, even if it's not very well understood. So I wanted this video to be about a topic that was a little bit more interesting, kind of a little bit deeper. Because, if you haven't learned a couple things about me, I kind of like talking about things that are deeper, get you thinking, kind of asking questions, because asking questions is a good thing. And I always thought a sign of things like people having intelligence was asking questions, questioning things, looking around the world, and just wondering why things are a certain way. Because there's nothing wrong with having questions and just observing the world around you. Because as people, we're meant to be curious, we're meant to learn, we're supposed to have a hunger for knowledge. And I think people with a hunger for knowledge takes them very far in life. So don't be afraid to ask questions and to explore and to ponder. Letting your mind work, letting your mind drift off can be healthy sometimes. Just as long as it doesn't interfere too much with your day-to-day lives. But, don't be afraid to just let your dreams carry you to unexpected places, even in your dreams. So, until next time, have a great day, guys.